All right, hello everyone. Thank you and welcome to the side stage here. We are going to get started here quickly. We're going to welcome Bryant, Gavin to the stage here in a minute. Wanted to give a brief introduction to Bryant. So he has 11 years of marketing SEM experience. He is truly an expert in that area. And apart from being the director of marketing at OnPurple, which is a wonderful brand, by the way, and my friends and I share constantly the really cool videos that they've created. He contributes to the Search Engine Journal. He also volunteers for a nonprofit in his local area. He's so good at this stuff, he must do it in his sleep, because how else would he have time to do it all? Brian is truly the Bob Ross of paid search and conversion rate optimization. So with that, let's welcome Brian to the stage.
How's everybody doing? I'm just glad Russell Wilson warmed you up for me. It's a good opening act, right? So I'm going to actually get you warmed up a little bit more, because this is how I wake up every day. I stroll into the office, and this is what I'm thinking the whole time.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough.
Anyways, I love doing that. It's fun. So, but that's not why you guys are here, to hear me and watch me rap or whatever. By the way, my wife said that these kicks wouldn't match. They match with everything. They're Jordans. Jordans work with everything, right? So, anyways, how OnPurple went from zero, literally January 22nd last year, to potential unicorndom in 17 months. And before I get into that, just to give you guys a little bit here, I've got 20 plus years sales and marketing experience, over 11 years SEM, digital specific, and I started at Lycos. Anybody in here remember Lycos? Yeah, as it was dying, that's when I started. But I was basically an account rep, kind of like a Google AdWords rep, only I was useful. So family's everything to me, if you can't tell by the pictures, and it's why I do everything that I do. So 5 years ago, this was me in Seattle. I'm the one on the left, in case you couldn't tell. So I just threw that up there because in the last 3 years, I've lost 170 pounds. And coming back to Seattle, I thought that was a good little thing. So that's my personal thing. But today I'm going to try and get you guys a little bit behind the scenes, backstage, of what's allowed OnPurple to truly grow into the brand that it is and have the accelerated rate that we're going. So I'm sure all of you in here have seen a Google Trends line before, right? So you've got the three big companies, right? Serta, Silly, Simmons, they're all billion-dollar brands, and their search interest. You can see it's pretty consistent over time, and then you see OnPurple drop in there right at the end. And by the end of the time of this thing, you can see it actually passing all of those big brands as far as search interest, people searching specifically for brand search. If we throw in Casper, right, that's one of the big names out there. Okay, Casper, that's their search interest. We're not quite caught up to them yet, but if you look and you took and transposed our first year over Casper's first year, it looks something like this. Okay, for search interest on our brand terms, somebody actually searching Purple mattress. A little bit of the press, and this is where I got, you probably never heard of us, on track to unicorndom. Who in here had heard of us before seeing the agenda? Okay, all right, a few of you, it's good. Good to know my advertising's working. But all of you are probably wondering how we've done this, right? And that's the real reason you're sitting in this room right now. So the first thing that I want to point out, and this is something you guys have probably heard multiple times, is people remember stories 22 times more than facts, okay? Listing out your product description is great, right, for those that are engineers or want into the nitty-gritty, but people want to understand the story of why they should have your product in their life and how it's going to help them. At OnPurple, we really consider ourselves a video-first company, okay? And we launched with video January 22nd, 2016. Who in here is seeing the Goldilocks raw egg test? Okay, a few of you. I clearly need to do a little bit more on that. But 120 million plus Facebook views, over 46 million YouTube views on this video, and as of today, it's probably closer to 200,000 different shares on this video, okay? The next thing we did is we did a Kickstarter in September, October of last year for the pillow. The pillow, we only did it for 30 days, okay? Some of the biggest Kickstarters have been ran over 45 to 60 days. And the video was key. This video alone has over 2 million video views on it, was shared thousands of times, and we are the number 43 most funded Kickstarter of all time on Kickstarter. Like, pretty freaking amazing. $2.6 million for the pillow, okay? Next, we did the Sumo platform, okay? We sold out of product in the first day. I wasn't even able to advertise this thing until like the last month when we got product in. And the big reason why is because of the star of the show. Just kidding. It was about the Sumos. But I thought that was fun. It was fun to be a part of that. So how many of you have heard mobile is coming? I think we've been hearing that for years, right? Mobile isn't coming anymore. It is here, okay? Purple, 80% of our traffic today is from a mobile device. 80%, okay? It's no longer, yeah, let's make sure it's a little, our website's responsive. We have to think about mobile first. Mobile has completely changed the game. I'm going to share a few stats with you from a recent Facebook study. So people scroll through the mobile newsfeed 41% faster than the desktop newsfeed. You basically have half the amount of time on a mobile device to capture attention if you're running ads on Facebook, right? When a video starts to autoplay on Facebook, which is about 70% of the time, okay, it lasts for people watching for about 16.7 seconds on average, okay? For ads, it's 5.7 seconds on average, okay? So 5.7 seconds, it's not a lot of time, right? You gotta be able to get your story in front of the consumer, okay? The consumers have spoken. Are we listening, or are we kind of like these guys, right? I'm gonna cover up, I'm not gonna see it, whatever, right? In order to really succeed, in order to grow, in order to have the type of success that's Purple's going, you must unlearn what you have learned, yes. Thank you. If you guys need any voiceover stuff, I'm available. So you really have to unlearn what you've learned, right? You've got to invest in content and asset creation. Big teams that can constantly create for different platforms. All of my advertising is 100% dependent upon the content that's created. My advertising would suck without the right content, okay? And you can't treat all platforms the same, right? Every one of these platforms has a different medium, okay? This normal 16:9 works great on YouTube because that's how all the videos are on there. But on Facebook, maybe you should be looking at 2:3 aspect ratio so it's vertical. So when they're going, right, because you've got to create thumb stoppers is what you've got to do on mobile. When they're scrolling through their feed, you've got to get something in front of them that within 2 seconds is the maximum amount of time you've got to grab their attention enough to get them to stop mid-swipe and continue watching your video, okay? So as we do this, right, obviously there's a lot of things that play into this from the advertising side of it, but you've also got to have your website really set up correctly, okay? Mobile first design. You've got to, no, sorry, I meant tweak everything, not twerk everything. Don't know how that got in there. Apologize for that. That was disturbing. Anyways, you have to test everything. And I'm not just talking about the button colors, okay? On your website, you really have to test everything, but this goes beyond just testing on your website, okay? You've got to optimize everything from your landing pages, the experience that's there, to the cart, and even the checkout experience, right? So one of the first things that I did when I came on at Purple was I made sure that we implemented Amazon Pay when it was available and Apple Pay, right? And Amazon Pay significantly increased our mobile conversions. we actually saw about a 57%, maybe it's 75, I'm trying to remember my stat here, between 50 and 75% reduction in the number of clicks it took for somebody to check out on our site by using Amazon Pay, okay? So when you're going into this, one of the things that's really, really important is that it's not just about the ads that you're running, it's not just about the content, it's about the whole experience, right? And we wouldn't have been able to have this growth. So here's the secret to viral marketing as a brand, right? You guys ready? You ready to write it down? Okay, the secret to viral marketing as a brand, it's unpredictable, but you can buy virality. Okay, anybody that comes to you and says that they can predict that something is going to go viral for you and they can make it happen, they are selling you a load of BS, right? But if you can create something like those videos, right? Like if we go back here to these videos, go through all of that. Oh, you had to see it again, sorry. Boom. All right, so all of these videos, right? They grab your attention in the first couple of seconds. But more than that, they're what we've come to label infotainment, okay? They're an ad, but they don't even feel like an ad. They feel like something you would want to watch. We get tweets, Facebook comments on YouTube on the daily saying, oh my gosh, this is the only ad I have never skipped on YouTube. This is the only ad I watched all the way through. And these videos are not short. Our shortest video is like 2 minutes long. Goldilocks is 4 minutes long. How many of you are making 4-minute long ad videos? A couple of you, okay? But in order to do that, right, you've got to entertain them. You've got to focus on them and get them engaged, which is why we tell stories. We use humor. For Purple, humor is at the core of everything that we do, right? That's really what drives us. The capturing the attention, but we also are in not just entertaining them, we are selling them on what we're doing, right? We are providing them the info on our products in an entertaining way so that when they get done watching that video, they go search for it, all right? And that's really important that you have that taken care of there. So, you guys, how many of you advertise on all of these different platforms? 1, 2 people in the audience? Okay. They're all, again, I really want to focus on this. They are all very different, okay? You got to invest in your content teams if you want to have the success that we've seen. We have more designers and videographers than we do advertising people on our marketing team because we need them to create the content, and it has to be changed for every single platform, right? My video that I run on Facebook is different than the video I run on YouTube. And one of the things that we do, when I talk about testing everything, that includes testing our videos. How many of you actually test your videos before you launch them wide? Yeah? Okay. So what we do is we actually plan ahead of time and we record anywhere between 6 and 10 different intros. That first 5 seconds, right? Those first 2 seconds. The things that ask them a question. And then we put money behind that as a dark post on Facebook, as a ad on YouTube, but it's not actually showing on our channel, right? And we test which ones of those grab the attention of users so that by the time on YouTube, as an example, they get to that 5-second mark, they're not clicking skip. We've got them engaged enough that they are willing to put off what they were wanting to watch to continue watching our video, okay? On average, our videos on YouTube have a 1 and 30-second watch time, okay? So on YouTube, we've had over 130 million minutes of our videos watched. On Facebook, it's over 100 million minutes. And that's with interruption marketing, right? We are interrupting their experience, but we are doing it in such a way, and we've tested each of these videos in such a way that they don't mind. When was the last time you had a consumer say, you know what, I was totally happy that you interrupted me watching that cat video, right? Like, it doesn't happen, but it can. But it requires you guys to actually plan a little bit. You have to test it. It's not just throwing up one video and hoping it works. It's planning out a bunch of different things. And most of the time, the things that we think are going to grab the attention is usually not what happens, right? Is anybody in here seeing the Sasquatch video for the mattress protector? Okay, a couple people. Okay, that video, we tested, I think, 6 different intros, 4 or 5 different closes, outros, and we had some really funny, quirky beginning ones, but the one that seemed to grab people's attention was, can your mattress protector stand up to Sasquatch? Like, really basic, right? Throwing out the product, saying what it was, right? The raw egg test said, how can you tell if your bed is awful, right? It wasn't the quirky one that we thought was gonna win, because we did a lot of that as well, but sometimes it's just asking that question that engages the psyche that gets them to think for just a second. All you have to do is get them to think for a second or two, right? That 2 seconds I talked about, right? You got 2 seconds to get them to think, and if they think, it's gonna cause them to pause. And if they pause just long enough, they're gonna continue watching, okay? And again, video is key for us. But one of our secret weapons, another one that Amazon, and I don't have a slide on this one, that Amazon has done for us. Who in here runs on Amazon Media Group? A couple of you? Okay. I think that's the freaking most awesome thing ever. Like, if you guys don't know what Amazon Media Group, it's this quiet little arm of Amazon that, like, you have to go digging, like, or bump into it somehow accidentally, it seems like. And basically, Amazon Media Group is a way for you, as an advertiser, to buy Amazon's audiences and serve them ads across the web, on the Kindle Fire tablet, or on the Kindle as a lock screen, on the Amazon Fire TV, right? It's a way for you to target these audiences. So for example, for us, we target people that have looked at mattresses on Amazon but have not purchased. Do you think that's a prime audience? They're in market, right? You can't get much better than that. And they've got a ton of this. It's a little bit more expensive than if you went to, say, the Google Display Network, right, and tried buying some stuff there. But the data behind it makes it so worth it. We started with a really small test budget with Amazon Media Group, and it's grown to be one of our largest channels that we use today. And we spend a lot of money. But we wouldn't be able to, because I'm not sure if you guys know this, but we have 0 funding. Okay? It has all been self-funded. Our founders put in the initial investment, and from that day, all of that growth has to be self-sustainable, which means we have to make money on every dollar that I spend. If we don't make money on it, I can't keep growing my budget. So everything we do has to lead to a sell, lead to a new customer, okay? Just in the first 4 to 5 months of this year, we've had over 85,000 new customers, okay? That's a lot of customers, right? But it's all profitable. You have to do it profitably for us. We may take funding eventually, but until then, all of this growth is going to continue to be self-funded. And that means we've got to find channels and ways to make things work. We make sure that our banner ads, they're not boring, right? We try and pull in some of the characters that we've created into these ads. You know, you're, again, on Forbes or one of these sites and you see an ad with sumos in it, it's probably going to catch your attention, right? So just real quick to wrap it up, I want to make sure you guys, if nothing else, you caught that you need to let me back up. Okay, when you guys leave here today, and I hope even before then, I hope some of you have started texting your teams, Slacking them, emailing them, Facebook messaging them, however you reach out to your team and telling them, we've got to start investing in content and doing it the right way, okay? You guys need to figure out what your story is, right? You need to figure out what your story is and how to tell that. in a way that not only educates, but entertains consumers, gets them on an emotional level, right? Nobody, okay, I can't say nobody, I'm sure there are a few weirdos out there that buy only on facts, but almost everything that we purchase is driven on emotion. And emotion overrides pretty much all other things in our lives, right? So you've got to figure out what your story is, how to tell it. And once you figure that out, your growth opportunities are limitless. You can buy that virality, right? Yeah, we've had some shares, we've had organic reach. We wouldn't be here if we hadn't. But branded videos, you buy your virality, and the only way you can buy virality, continue to pump money into it, is if it's profitable for you guys, if it's growing your businesses. So I'm really hard to find. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the future. Appreciate it. I think we've got time for a few questions. I think there's some mics back there. So if you guys had any questions, I'm available to answer them for you.
Thanks, Bryant. Yes, we have time for a couple questions. We have mics in the back if you want to step up and ask a question for Bryant.
Evaluate. I'm sorry. Hello?
There you go.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you evaluate the content creators you work with, and are these people in-house, outside, and what is that process for you?
So for us, it's been kind of a mixed bag for sure. So that first video, the Goldilocks video, we actually partnered up with the Harmon brothers. They created like Poopery, Squatty Potty, VidAngel, some of these other brands that they've launched through that. And so we knew that they could produce a video. Our founders spent a ridiculous sum of money on something that they weren't 100% sure was gonna work. But finding the right partner is critical. From there though, sometimes that's not really sustainable to continue to constantly do everything with an outside partner. So we've actually brought in our own videographer team, a video director. We've got a bunch of, like I said, designers and other things like that. We have content writers in-house, so people that can actually write the scripts for our videos. But when you do video production, right, if you're doing it in-house, you don't keep everybody on staff all the time because you don't constantly have a video shoot actually happening. So we contract a lot of people. We have tried multiple vendors, like the Sasquatch video was done with a vendor, Big Door, out of Provo, Utah. But it's required us to also do a lot of coaching because we do things in a very particular way. And so it's not, I know it depends is the universal answer, it seems, for marketing, but it really does depend on what budget you guys have, what talent you have available around you, and whether you can bring them in-house or not. But before you brought them in-house, I would actually test them as a consultant to make sure that they're gonna be able to give you the quality, not just in production value, but in sales value as well. Does that answer your question?
Hello. So first off, congrats, Purple. You guys are crushing it. I've been following you for a while. What I'm curious about is, how do you think about the characters that you're going to tell a story around? And is it something that you have like a roadmap similar to products that you're going to launch, characters that will tie into those products? Or do you think about it as in Goldilocks will be brought in for XYZ product launch in the future, and you're going to kind of maintain that character?
So one of the slides I didn't have in here, which I wasn't sure if I would have enough time to talk about, and you've been following us for a long time. Do you actually own any of our products?
No.
We need to rectify that. What do I need to do? Come down in Alpine, I'll give you a factory tour. How cool would that be, right? All right, catch me after. But going back to that question about characters, right? A lot of people, everybody knows Flo, right? Or the gecko. And that you can build a brand around one person or one character if they're really good. But we wanted to hedge our bets a little bit, and so we've kind of taken the Avengers model, and that we have a lineup of characters that we can tap into for the future. And yes, each one of those things was very specific, right? We went with Sasquatch because it was kind of fun. Well, first off, a couple of our team are just obsessed with Sasquatches. But secondly, because it's just really engaging, and who shoots a mattress protector video out in the middle of the woods with Sasquatches, right? So it fell into the storyline. The Sumos was all about testing the strength of our platforms that we developed, right? They can hold up to 4,400 pounds. So seeing two Sumos stepping around on these platforms, right? Like actually going at it, throwing each other down, it helped demonstrate the strength of the product. Again, remember, we're trying to entertain, but really what we're trying to do is get you to learn why our product is so cool without you recognizing that that was my goal. Does that answer your question?
I wanted to ask in terms of if you are diversifying your product or you have some products that are kind of different, how do you manage not diluting that brand message and making sure that the customer's not confused?
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, I think it goes back to the core of who we are as a company. For us, right, we really dig into the science. You know, we were started by an astrophysicist, rocket scientist, whatever you want to call them, and a mechanical engineer, two brothers, right? So all of the stuff that they've done, the bed itself has something like 15 or 16 different patents just in the cushioning technology there. So every one of our things, we have a USP. Our USP is that our product is literally different, right? There is no other mattresses out there made with this product at the scale that we're doing, okay? It's not memory foam, it's not latex, it's not any of these things that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years. It's a completely new thing. And so we try and bring that in with each of our products, even like the platform base, which we didn't science so much, but it was engineered so that it could hold that much weight, because a solid foundation is really important to your mattress. Even if you don't have a purple, you've got to have a really solid foundation. Otherwise, your mattress starts to buckle, it gets uncomfortable, things like that. So telling that story of the science, the engineering, why it happened, that's how we keep it constant across products, even though they are constantly shifting, right? The pillow, our seat cushions, like all of those different things, we lead it back to what is it that makes the company different. Does that answer your question?
So we have time for maybe two more questions. Go ahead.
So first, you're making me feel bad that I bought from your competitor, one of them.
You should. I bet you're already sleeping bad, so.
I'll go buy a purple later. But my question pertains to the inputs that you focus on, because we can control our inputs, not necessarily the outcomes. So
Yep.
when you have your creative process, like how do you schedule that? What does that look like to get your creative team creating, I guess? Like, what does that process look like?
Okay, so for us, it's actually been probably a lot more compressed than what we would really like it to be. And that's just because we've had so many product launches, so many things happen within a short period of time. Since we launched last January, we've had 5 or 6 other products that we've added to the mix since then. And each one of those has to have a launch video. And all of those products basically launched within a 3-month period of time. They'd all been getting engineered and developed and stuff like that. So we had to develop all of these things. And we didn't even have working prototypes to go shoot a video months in advance, right? There's some of our videos, literally they got the product on the day of the video shoot. So one of the things that we do is we try and learn as much about the product as possible, okay? We have to be product experts, not just on the advertising side, but on the content creation side. And when you become that product expert, you know what it is that makes your product different. And then it's coming up with a demonstrable way to show that differentiation in an educating way. So we usually go through and we have a whiteboarding session, a bunch of different script ideas. We'll flesh out a couple of those and see which ones kind of resonate or which ones we think will have the best go at it there. And then once we finalize on that script idea, then we'll actually go and write out a bunch of different script intros and outros and make sure that we film all of those. Also, talking to the difference in, the platforms that you're on. We're also starting to shoot our videos differently so that we can not only get that 16:9 wide angle, but potentially that 2:3 vertical, or a 10-second Snapchat ad, or other things like that. Does that answer your question?
All right, one more question.
I'm curious how you approach spend and budgeting, and if you can share any detail in terms of percentage of revenues, and if you, being the marketing guy, if you feel like if you had more cash to spend, if you could deliver more sales.
So in my tenure in digital marketing, I've managed probably close to $120 million in advertising spend over the last 11 years. Purple has actually grown into the largest advertising spend I've ever spent. I can't give percentages of stuff, but I can tell you that we're striving for profitability. So if you look at my advertising spend plus my cost of goods, I have to have enough money to not only make another mattress, but also grow my advertising budget, pay for all of the personnel. We've went from 0 to almost, or 30 to almost 650 employees in a little over a year. Okay, manufacturing facilities, machines that we've had to buy. So budgeting is very fluid for us. If you went and looked at that Google Trends line, there's a bunch of ups and there's a bunch of downs. And all of those correspond precisely with us ramping spend or pulling back on spend because production could not keep up with our demand. And so it's really fluid for us. Right now we're in a ramp phase because production's finally figured out some of the kinks. We got some other machines online. And so we're continuing to ramp that, but we do it gradually and steadily. For us, gradually may be increasing our budget $10,000 a day, right? For others, that may be $10,000 a month. So it really just depends on what profits you guys have coming in and where you go from there. I firmly believe I'm definitely a performance marketer. And so I love, hey, if I can do this, let me keep doing what? If I can grow revenue, let me keep growing ad spend, right? As long as I can keep doing those things. And obviously there are some trade-offs. The faster you grow, the more it eats into profitability, right? Those are at an intersection. They don't go concurrently together. So hope that answers your question.
All right, thanks, Bryant. Appreciate
No
the
problem.
time. I can honestly